Welcome everyone. This is an online yoga session from Yoga in Salt Spring, and today the focus is going to be on abs, abdominal muscles. So much of what we think of as abdominal strength and abdominal muscles is in building a six-pack, as it's called, where the muscles of the internal and external obliques and of course the rectus abdominis are prominent in this area. But what that leads to is the upper abdomen being very strong and the lower abdomen, which is what we need very much in yoga for twists and turns and strength in that pelvic area. It doesn't help strengthen that. So what we're working on today is the lower abdominal area. We're going to do some simple exercises and build up into some more demanding yoga poses throughout the session. So let's begin by coming on to all fours in a very simple cat-cow pose. So come on to all fours, knees underneath your hips, toes can be either flat or turned under, palms spread out underneath the shoulders. And we're going to do a series of 10 or so inhalations, exhalations, and they're going to be coordinated with the lift of the spine. So a lot of the work on abdominals is to do with the spine. So we're going to take an inhalation and release the spine to a little less than neutral, but we're not going to dip it down into a big concave. And then we're going to exhale and lift the spine up. And as you do so, the abdominals are going to be engaged and also helping to lift up the spine as you breathe out. So let's do two of those. Inhalation, release the spine down, abdominals are relaxed. Exhalation, as you lift up the spine, engage the lower abdominal area. You can feel it if you put your hand there, it's firm. And then release. So go into 10 of these in your own speed. I'm going to carry on, and this is probably number 4. Exhaling. 5. Inhaling. 6. Exhaling. 7. Inhaling. 8. Exhaling. 9. Inhaling. 10. Exhaling. And then we're going to reverse the cat-cow, lie on your back, and we're going to be doing some leg lifts. So just again, what we're going to be working on the mat against the wall. This is how you're going to be. I'll demonstrate that, but I'm going to work sideways so that you can see me head on. Rods to hold on to here, but you're going to quickly press your hands into the wall, so it can be a thumb and first finger press or 5 fingers, whatever works for you. Close down to the floor so that you're stretching the arms and you've got a little bit up this time, stretching them up, lengthening them out. Alright, so that's where I want you to wait for me. Knees bent, hands pressed into the wall, lower spine pressed into the mat. That's the important part. So I'm going to replace my mat so that you can see me work sideways. And for anyone who doesn't have a wall, I've got a strap. So you can do the same as me. I'm going to put the strap into a small circle so that my arms can be holding onto that. Maybe I'll just double it over a couple of times and I'll have my hands holding onto this as I stretch them back. So what we're practicing now is a pose called Prasarita Padottanasana, and we're going to do it in a series so that we're going to do it bit by bit, different stages, and if at any point you want to go back to the previous stage, I'll give you an indication. So knees bent, abdominal area rested down, back of the spine rested into the mat. Stretch the arms out into the wall or holding onto your strap and raise the legs. So we'll be here for a little while. So the legs can be at 90 degrees, you don't have to have them further over here, but you're pressing down the lower back, the spine into the mat. And that's how you're going to keep it while you take this little sequence. So keep opening the soles of the feet. Flat, as if it were holding a box, for example. So we're going to bend the knees, take them down to the mat and come up. And if your lower back is lifting off, pay more attention to the lower back and keep it pressed into the mat. So bend the knees, touch down, come up. We'll do a few of these to begin. Bend the knees, touch down, come up. So 3 more. Keeping the back pressed down. You can feel that it's not a heavy duty movement, but it's a subtle movement. The spine. Lie down, come up. Now, Urdhva Prasarita Padottanasana means extended upward foot. So the idea is that right now they're extended, we're going to release them slowly down towards the mat, pressing the lower back into the mat so that you're not concaving the lower back. Press it into the mat, press it into the mat. Straighten out the arms and then slowly come up. So if you need to bend the knees doing this instead of having them straight to protect your lower back so that you can go down in the same way as we just did, you can do that, of course. So let's do 2 more of those, and then we're going to do them in an interrupted sequence. So take a breath in, and then exhale as you come down. let's release for a moment, press them into the mat. Let everything relax completely in the abdomen. And then for the last session, raise the legs up and we'll go down in increments. 3 times we'll take a pause and then come up to the top slowly. So again, if you need to bend the knees, you take care of your back. So pressing the spine into the mat to engage the abdominal, the lower area. We're going to take a breath in, exhale and come down a third of the way, 30 degrees. Again, 30 more degrees. So now we're at 60 degrees from the top. Inhale, exhale, come down to the bottom. All the time pressing into the spine and then slowly come up to the top. We'll do 2 more of those. So take a breath in. Exhale down to 30 degrees, third of the way. Inhale. Exhale down. Second portion. Inhale, exhale down to the bottom and then slowly swing up to the top. Last time. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Slowly come up to the top. And release. Bring the knees into the chest. Rock a little bit on the circle, maybe something like this. We're going to do the next series, which is Supine Padottanasana. So Supine Padottanasana is means supine or lying down big toe pose, and the idea is we're going to do similar just as a demonstration, when you're standing in Tadasana like this, this is the area that you want to lengthen. And when it's not lengthened, very often you might find people who've got a forward lean of this nature, or maybe even a backward lean when they're pushing the thighs forward, but not necessarily lengthening this area. All right. So what you want to think of in Tadasana is a tuck in the hip area, so a tuck here and a lift up here for your Tadasana. So we're going to put that into practice now with Supine Padottanasana. So lie on your back with your knees bent, have your strap ready. Around the ball of the foot, and then the way I like to do it is to take the hands through the back of the strap, and clasp the strap gently. So you don't want it to be so tense that your shoulders are coming off the mat. So allow the leg to be at 90 degrees, bring the hands through the back of the strap, clasp the strap, and then you've got a pretty relaxed position for the hands. So extend the other leg, and then begin to work both legs, engage both legs. So the leg that's raised up, my left leg in this case, is opening the sole of the foot towards the ceiling. The kneecap is lifted, the thigh is, the muscle is clasping onto the bone. And I'm doing the same with the opposite leg, the leg on the floor. Now I'm also extending the leg Supine Padottanasana 1. So put the right arm out to the side, put the strap in the left hand, and then keeping that right leg extended firmly on the mat, you're going to take a breath in, exhale, and then gradually bring the left leg down towards the floor. It doesn't have to reach the floor, that's not important. More important is to keep the right shoulder down, the right hip down, and if you need to put something under the knee or under the foot, you certainly can. If you have a blanket or something beside you, you can rest the knee on, rest the leg on. You want to keep the foot coming up towards your shoulder, so not down here, more up in this direction. So be there for, maybe we'll take a few more breaths. We're aiming for 30 seconds in many of our poses today. So hold it there for a few more breaths, pressing the right leg down into the mat. And then take a breath in. On an exhalation, bring that leg up. Release the strap and bring the leg down. And then observe if there's any difference between the two legs, maybe between the pelvic area. Now I'm going to turn around the other way so that you can see the other side. And you're going to be raising your right leg. So bend both knees, bring the right leg to the top, take the hands through the back, clasp the strap, and now you're at 90 degrees. Allow the spine to release down to the floor. Stretch out the left leg, and then mindfully lift the mound of the big toe so that it's the same height as the little toe. Press the thigh muscle back towards the femur so that the femur bone and the quad are gripping into each other. Release the shoulders down. And then the other area we worked on was the pubis to the navel. Make space in that area. Breathe. Remember to release the spine down towards the mat. And then put the strap in the right hand. Release the left hand out to the side. And then slowly bring, on an exhalation, bring the right leg down towards your shoulder. So bring it down slowly. You can rest it wherever it lands. It could land here. It could land further down. You want to try and keep the left hip down and keep that space between the pubis and the navel, and keep the left shoulder down. So having something to rest on can be good for that thigh if it doesn't reach down completely. And then hold here, breathe. Breathe into those spaces that need your attention, the right hip, the left hip. And then inhale, exhale, bring the leg up to the top, bend the knee, and let the leg slide out. Pay attention to both legs, see how they feel, and stay there for another couple of breaths. Then sit up, and we're going to take boat pose, which is Navasana. It's either Paripurna Navasana, which is the full boat, or Ardha Navasana, which is the half boat. So take a look. From this position here, we're going to lean back onto the hands, find that pivot spot where we're balancing, and then raise the legs up in preparation. So already when you do this, if you put your hand into the abdominals, you can see that they're engaged. And we're only halfway up, so we've got the legs at half boat. So from here, we're going to go back and find that balance place. So when I lift the legs up, I'm now going to lift the arms up and stretch the arms out in front. And we're going to hold these different sequence poses within Navasana for 30 seconds. So at this point, we're definitely engaging the lower abs. We're working the legs. We're going to hold this for 30 seconds. And then release the legs down, catch around the shins and lift tall. Let everything relax. And then get ready for the next. So the next one will be the full Padottanasana, which is the boat pose. If you need to bend the knees, then take care of your lower back. There should be no strain in the lower back. So again, find your balance pose, lift the legs up, and ideally in this pose, the legs are higher than the head. So that's why it's called a boat. These are the sides of the boat. You've got the prow and the bow, I guess, or the bow and the stern. And you're lifting your legs up. The sternum bone is lifted. There's a little rounding of the back. That's okay. You can't puff the chest out and concave the spine at this point, that's for sure. So keep breathing softly. Keep the legs higher than the head if you can. Coming up for 30 seconds. And then release the feet down. Hug the knees one more time. If you can bring the forearms around the shin and lift up, you're doing some good work in lengthening the spine. And now for the final one, this is half boat Ardha Navasana. This demands a little bit more work from the abdominals, so if you want to go back to one of the previous poses, that is something you should do if you need to look after your back. So take a breath in, exhale as you bring the legs up, bring the arms behind the head. So you're a little lower in this one, more like a kayak or a canoe. So the lower back is working, the abdominals are working, and the head and the feet are both lower down. Don't hold on tightly to your neck. You don't want to be reaching the head forward. You're just working, breathing softly, keeping the legs slightly lifted, the head slightly lifted. 30 seconds, and then come up, clasp the shins and lift tall. Now, one of the areas, just relax for a moment, one of the areas that we're working on here is twists. You'll notice that as you twist from one side to the other, you're using the obliques in this area too. So internal and external obliques, I'm just checking my notes here, are what helps us to not only keep our posture, but also to twist. So they work in things like heavy lifting, leveraging, and all the twisting we have to do, not only in yoga poses, but in life generally. So we're going to do one more twist whilst we are on the ground. It's a supine twist, then some standing poses. So get some space on your mat. Make sure you've got space for the knees to move either side. And we're going to roll to one side, roll to the other, and then do a series of 10 rolling back and forth. So all you need is your mat for this one. If you find when you bring the knees down, you need some support. I'll demonstrate how it works with support for the knees. So lie down with your knees bent. Bring the knees over the chest, hug them with your arms. So this is a really good back release pose. So if at any point you're feeling pain in the lower back, maybe you've done something strenuous and the back is hurting, this is a very good release. So from here we're going to stretch the arms out, keep the knees in together, keep them glued together, ankles together, knees together. We're going to take a breath in and slowly bring the knees down to the right side. Slowly, slowly, slowly. Begin to feel the twist in the obliques, in the lower abdomen, as you rest the knees to the side. And if you need more height, if you're up here, just take the height that you need. So the left shoulder is down, and you're feeling a big stretch in both the left side and the right as you release the knees. And then inhale, come up on an exhalation, back to the center, reposition the spine. If you're out of the center of your mat, take a breath in and we'll go to the left side. Exhale, down to the left, keep the knees up high towards the elbow. So stretch out the right shoulder so that you can release it down to the mat. Knees together, ankles together. This is a strong twist, but it is a variation on the classic pose where the legs are straight. So coming up for 30 seconds here. And then take a breath in, come up on an exhalation, back to the center. So now we're going to take 10 fairly slow turns from one side to the other in this variation. The whole pose is called Jayne Padottanasana. So knees and ankles together, arms stretched out, and here we go on 10. Inhale, exhale, down to the side. And then in a slow movement down to the opposite side. So I'm on 5. If you're going in your own speed, that's okay. If you've got a prop under your knees, that's also fine. Remember to keep the knees high, coming up towards the elbow. And that's 10. Come back to the center. Hug the knees one more time. Rock on the lower back, sacrum. And then rest the feet on the floor, the arms to the side. And just let go. Let the spine rest on the floor. Soften the obliques. Everything is at ease, at rest in the abdominal area. Then bend the knees into the chest, roll to the right side, and we'll come up and take some standing poses against the wall. Going to get a couple of blocks. If you have 2 blocks, get your blocks ready. Virabhadrasana 2. So for that you won't need your blocks, you can press them further away. Warrior Pose 2. So step into a wide stride, maybe 5 feet apart, close to the wall. And we're going to turn out to the right. So turn your left foot in, your right leg out, and bring yourself down to a right angle with the front leg. So remember the knee work that we did very recently. You want to make sure the knee is in line with the hip bone, is in line with the second toe. And as you look down, you want to be able to see your big toe on the inside of the knee so that the knee is keeping straight. So what we're doing here for the abdominals is to lift the navel and make a space between the pubis and the navel. So the navel comes away from the head, the pubis comes away from the head, the navel lifts up. So again, we're going for half a minute. And then come up, toes towards the front, and you can use the wall. So, excuse me, have your back against the wall. Use it as your prop. Now turning to the left. Come down to a right angle with the front knee. Check that your knee is aligned with the hip bone. Second toe, stretch the arms out. And then create space between the pubic bone and the head. So lift the head up, release the pubic bone down. Stretch the arms out. If the arms get tired, turn the palms up to release the shoulders and then turn them over to get more release in the shoulders. Strong in the back leg. And then straighten your legs, toes forward, heel and toe to come in. Tadasana. When you come back to Tadasana, this is the time again where you can lift up from the pubic bone towards the navel, make space, and then lift up through the front chest. Next we're going to take Prasarita Padottanasana. So you can move the bricks in front of you. We're going to take the legs into a wide stride. You won't need the wall for this one, so you can come slightly away from it. Wide stride with the legs, hands on the hips, and we're going to reach forward. A little too close to the wall here. We're going to reach forward, lengthening through the front chest. So again, pubis to navel lengthening, navel to sternum lengthening. The whole chest is reaching forward, parallel to the floor. And then you can place your hands either on the floor or on a brick. And you're still looking forward, you're still opening the chest. So the legs are engaged, the whole of the spine is lengthening, front spine lengthening, posterior spine lengthening. Press the hands into the brick and look forward. Legs are strong, press the thighs back, lift up the kneecaps. Anybody with overextended knees, over flexible knees, just take a micro bend in your knee. And then for those of you who can take the head down to the floor, the full pose looks like this, and otherwise stay where you are with your hands on the bricks. So you walk the hands back parallel with the feet and rest the head down. Keeping the shoulders lifted, thighs pressed back. And then come up, hands back under the shoulders, look forward, and then bring the hands onto the hips, heel and toe to come in, back to Tadasana. be Padottanasana. So with Padottanasana, we're going to use the bricks. Put the bricks on your right side and stand in a smaller stride, smaller than Trikonasana stride, and then we're going to turn to the right. So as you turn to the right, you want the back toe turning in, heel turning out, and the front leg is turning directly forward. So this leg is forward, and with the hands on the hips, you can align the hips, compact the hips to face forward. The bricks are either side of your foot. Take a breath in, open the chest, exhale forward. Use that stability in the back leg to ground you as you come down. Place your hands on the bricks, bring them beside the foot and open the chest. So here again you have an opportunity to lift the pubis up towards the navel. So you're making space between the pubis and the navel, lifting the navel up, and extending the pubis away from you. So create space between pubis and navel as you lift the sternum up. So the whole of the spine is extended. Pressing the hands into the brick, take a breath in, come up, turn to the side, Tadasana. I'm going to change sides. Hands on the hips, take a short stride, turning to your left, and then hands on the hips, so you've got a moment to compact the hips, turn the back foot in maximum, so heel out, toe in. Keep your balance by grounding down through the inner heel of both feet. Inhale, open the chest. Exhale forward. Come down halfway. Keep lifting the sternum. Hands on the bricks, place them beside the feet. Open the chest. So you're aiming to keep the spine extended, a level hip, a level pelvis, and compacted hips. And then press the feet down, take a breath in, come up, turn towards the front, step into Tadasana. Again, lifting up through here, tucking under at the back. Now, Trikonasana. Take your bricks to the side again. Again, to take Trikonasana using the wall. And we're going to be more focused on the chest and the abdomen than we are on raising the arms. So we might keep the hands on the hips the whole time. Alright, so stretch into a wide stride. I'm going to go to my right first, so turning to the right. I'm going to bring the brick just inside the right foot, turning the back foot in, keeping the hips open towards the front. Stretch the arms out, and then bring the left hand to the hip as you come down towards the right side with your hand on the brick. And depending on your flexibility and length of experience, you may be able to go down onto the lower brick, or the upper brick may be just fine. So press the hand into the brick, and now what we're doing is focusing on opening this area, because these obliques are going to help us to open and twist. And this is quite a twist, especially with the wall behind you, so that you can tell if the upper shoulder, the left shoulder's pressed in, what's happening to the left lung, the left kidney. Can you bring them around and open them, press them into the wall? So you can look up, we won't worry about the arm on this pose. Keep the kneecaps lifted, keep the right buttock pressed into the wall, And open the left side of the body as if you were aiming for the wall. And then in preparation to come up, lift the kneecaps, press down the feet, take a breath in, come up, toes forward, take a breath. Turning to the left, change your brick if you need to. Right hand on the hip now, reaching for the left side. Come down to your brick. It's kind of a slow motion Trikonasana, but there are times when we need to really focus on what we're doing rather than mindlessly going into the pose. So now I'm on the left side, pressing my hand to the brick. My left buttock is pressed into the wall. The right side is now where I need the focus. So I'm moving the right shoulder back, moving the right rib cage back, right lung, right kidney. Where are they? Can you feel them pressing towards the wall? So strong in the legs still. Check your knee. If you have a chance to look down, make sure that the knee is pointing in the direction of your second toe. Open the chest one more time and create that space between the pubis and the head. Move the pubis away from the head, still lifting the sternum. Then press down the feet, inhale, on an exhalation come up, toes forward and step in. Tadasana. We're going to finish by taking a supine pose. So get ready to lie down on your mat. Take the brick. Have it beside you as you lie down on your back. Let everything rest on the mat. So the lower back, the spine, everything is releasing down. And then take your brick, slide it under the sacrum. I've got it at this height, so second height, laterally underneath the sacrum. And then roll the shoulders under, dig the elbows into the mat, and if you're ready for this, you're going to stretch your legs out. If that's too much for the lower back, then bring them back to bent knees. Otherwise, you can stretch them out. Walk your heels away from you. Now you're having a big stretch in this area here. The whole of the abdomen, the thighs and the chest are extending. Breathe softly as you hold it here. And then in preparation for the next height, if you want to move your brick up to the next height, you bring your feet in, bend the knees, take out the brick, bring it up to its higher level, still laterally but on the top level, lift the hips up, place it under the sacrum. Make sure you're centrally placed. Release the sacrum down and then open the chest. Dig the elbows in to keep more opening in the chest to get onto the very tops of your shoulders. The back of the neck is long, the chin is soft, and you may find that you can stretch the legs out, or even one at a time. Stretch the legs out. If you can stretch both legs out, go ahead. one by one. And to come out of this pose, I recommend you lift up, take the grip away, and then before coming down, raise the hips once or twice, and then as you come down, take the back waist down first, then the buttocks, and then rest the back completely. Bring the knees into the chest, hug the chest, hug the knees into the chest, and take a couple of circles on the lower back. Rest the feet down. Take a couple of breaths. And then roll to your side to come out. And we're going to finish with legs up the wall, Viparita Karani. So for this, if you have a bolster, get your bolster set up at the wall. And if you'd like something to lie on underneath your back, you can stretch out a blanket. I like to have the bolster a few inches away from the wall, which enables the sitting bones to dip down. Then this is supporting the hips, the shoulders and the head are on your mat, and the legs are up the wall. So to get into this pose, you simply sit on your bolster, roll yourself around to the side, and bring the legs up. Rest the arms out to the side, opening the chest, and let go. So the legs are staying up of their own accord. You can check that the knees are in line, but really this is a relaxation pose we're interested in. So if the legs relax a little, that's okay. Make sure the back of the neck is long. And this is going to be our Shavasana. Make sure you're warm enough and prepared to stay here as long as you have. 5 minutes, 10 minutes. I'm going to be here a minute. Then I'm going to let you finish your Shavasana in your own time. So continue in the pose if you have the time. Otherwise, I'm going to bend my knees, roll to the side, sit up. Thank you for joining me. Namaste.